Welcome to Britain Fights Back, and thanks for tuning in. Naz Shah is the Labour MP for Bradford West, and she lies. Not just tiny ones, but huge, in-your-face, dirty falsehoods. And our tax pays for her lifestyle. Let me explain. Ticking all the right boxes for the area, Shah was put forward as the Labour candidate. The lady that actually won suddenly dropped out, so Labour pushed Shah forward. But there was a problem. On the very day Labour hoped she would be elected as MP, she was also going to be made a bankrupt. In fact, this wasn't her first bankruptcy order, it was the second issued against her in just 7 years. Bill Gavin, now a Sandwell councillor and former driver for the former Labour deputy leader Tom Watson, was recorded by a local whistleblower explaining how they moved to rescue that woman elected up in Bradford. He spoke about raising almost £26,000 to prevent the Bradford West MP hopeful Naz Shah being taken to bankruptcy court on the very day she was first elected in 2015. Yet she never declared the receipt or the source of that £27,552.52 in the Parliamentary Register of MPs' financial interests, whose purpose, let's not forget, is to ensure transparency concerning potential influence over an MP's action, words, or the way they vote. But that's not why we're here today. Most of us know about her liked and retweeted tweet some 7 years ago. Although she claims she retweeted it by mistake, it's quite obvious she didn't. It takes 2 hand movements to like and share. One movement might be accidental, but 2? No, that's deliberate.
As a Member of Parliament for one of the largest constituencies, Muslim and Pakistani heritage people, Muslims, I know the sheer anger and condemnation that the vast majority of them share, like all Britons, against those that commit these vile actions and vile sexual abuse. This is not only backed by recent polling by Opinion that shows Muslims are deeply concerned, majority of them, about grooming gangs, but by sermons in mosques, letters from leading figures, demonstrations on the streets, and so much more, often not given the media coverage that they deserve. I am pleased to see the National Crime Agency will be involved in the future inquiries, and let me reiterate in this House that British Muslims stand on the side of victims and support the full force of the law against all perpetrators of abuse. But would the Home Secretary agree with me that those that display selective outrage or fan the flames to blame entire communities do nothing to protect innocent victims or further the cause of victims?
I've got to tell you, I was confused. I went to Grok, but Grok could find no information. In fact, it seemed as befuddled as I was. So I set about trying to find reference to these Bradford Muslim community rallies demanding justice for our children. I searched Twitter, Facebook, mainstream media and new media outlets, but nothing. Indeed, Raja Maya, a well-known celebrated Muslim activist fighting from Oldham to get help and justice for these young girls, had heard nothing either. These short videos are the only media I could find on Muslim communities in Bradford.
So our Prophet ﷺ said, أفضل الجهاد إعلاء كلمة حق عند سلطان جائر. That the greatest jihad, the greatest struggle is to speak truth in the face of an oppressive ruler. May Allah Almighty...
The 2011 census shows over 56.7% of all residents in Bradford are white British. A huge decrease, actually, from 2011. Naz Shah has never stood up in Parliament and shown concern for the children raped by Pakistani Muslim gangs in her hometown. a town where she's supposed to represent the people of that ward. Given over half the people there are white, I had a look at what she did represent and talk about in Parliament. Have a listen.
To begin, when it's starting the record of a consecutive Conservative government when it comes to their engagement with Muslim communities. Last night, when I saw the front page of a Daily Mail and heard about the so-called dodgy judgment used by the Minister for Trade to meet a controversial Muslim group, I was not expecting this meeting to be with a mainstream Muslim organisation that members across this House meet with on a regular basis. Madam Deputy Speaker, the Muslim Council of Britain is a mainstream Muslim organisation backed by mainstream British Muslim mosques, organisations and institutions. Yesterday, this long-held secret boycott of a mainstream Muslim group by Number 10 was finally admitted on the front page of a tabloid press. The record of this government is that the Prime Minister's comments led to 375% increase in attacks on Muslim women.
Disgraceful.
Previous Conservative governments refused to form a working definition of Islamophobia, and then they refused to adopt the APPG definition of Islamophobia. Then they promised they'd make one of their own, then appointed and unappointed their advisor, and almost a decade later, hate crimes on Muslims are rising. And what do we have from this government? Absolutely nothing. And mainstream Muslim organisations boycotted by Number 10. I'm sorry to tell this Conservative government, but the days are gone when they could prop up Muslim organisations based on one or two people and funded and supported for the purposes of their policy agenda. Those days are over. Mainstream British Muslims sit within Parliament, represent our nations in sports. We have the doctors, the nurses in our hospitals, the teachers that teach our children, our future leaders. We are equally British and must equally be heard. The record of this government is nothing to be celebrated, and those that vote for a confidence motion in this government are equally responsible.
And here she is talking to her constituents.
अभी प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऋषि सुनक ने ऐलान कर दिया है कि हमारा समर इलेक्शन होगा, जनरल इलेक्शन होगा 4 तारीख जुलाई की 4 तारीख को। 9.5 साल से मैं आपकी आवाज़ बनकर, आपने मुझ में वो अमाना दिया था आपकी वोट का कि हमारी आवाज़ बनकर पार्लियामेंट में जाओ, और यहाँ मैंने आवाज़ उठाई है, हर मौजू पर उठाई है, चाहे वो कश्मीर पर हो, चाहे वो फ़लस्तीन पर हो, चाहे वो इकॉनमी पर हो, चाहे वो घरेलू जो हमारे मुश्किलात हैं हमारे कंस्टिट्यूएंसीज़ के लिए, हर चीज़ के लिए मैंने आपकी आवाज़ उठाई है, बग़ैर खौफ के उठाई है, बग़ैर डर के उठाई है। और इसीलिए मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप मेरी दोबारा मदद करें और आप वही इत्मीनान मुझ में रख के मुझे इस इलेक्शन में जिताएं, मुझे वोट दें और मेरी सपोर्ट करें, ताकि जो हमारे काम अधूरे रह चुके हैं वो मैंने वापस आकर यहाँ पूरे करने हैं इंशाल्लाह। तो ज़रूर प्लीज़ आप अगर इन्वॉल्व होना चाहते हैं कैंपेन में तो हमारे दफ्तर से रब्ता करें। अगले दिनों में, अगले हफ्तों में मैं सेट आउट करूंगी, जो एक तो मैं अपना रिकॉर्ड पेश करूंगी और मैं याद कराऊंगी सबको कि देखें हमने क्या किया है, इन 5 सालों में मैंने क्या किया है, बल्कि 9 साल से ज़्यादा मैंने आप लिए क्या किया है। और वही आवाज़ हमें चाहिए, एक मजबूत आवाज़ हमें पार्लियामेंट में चाहिए, ब्रैडफोर्ड वेस्ट के लिए, हर बच्चे के लिए, हर औरत के लिए, हर मर्द के लिए, हर बुजुर्ग के लिए हमें वो आवाज़ यहाँ चाहिए। और इसलिए मैं ये इलेक्शन लड़ूंगी इंशाल्लाह, और आपकी मदद के बगैर मैं यहाँ नहीं पहुँच सकती। तो प्लीज़ मुझे दुआओं में भी रखिएगा, और मेरे अगर आप मदद कर सकते हैं कैंपेन की, वॉलंटियर कर सकते हैं, तो प्लीज़ गेट इन टच। जज़ाकल्लाह खैर, थैंक यू।
She's running scared for her very parliamentary seat, her livelihood. Why? Because this Pakistani man is now coming for her.
Today in Bradford, not only have we taken Little Horton, Great Horton, Manningham, Heaton, City Ward and Toller. I'm going to tell you something here. This is a clear message to Starmer. Bradford has rejected Labour. It's rejected Zionism. And this is a message to you, Naz Shah and Imran Hussain. We are coming for you in the general election. Anyone that stands with Zionism, we're coming after you.
I do try hard to read all your comments, so please keep leaving them. It's good to share our thoughts. But for now, I'll just say, stay calm, stay safe, and let's chat again soon.